Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thank you for joining me and Deb. For everyone who's just tuned in, we've just followed a premiere, so you might want to watch that after the live if you've not seen it. But we did promise, didn't we, Deb, that we'd get together and we'd have a chat about the paranormal. Now, you can tell our Deb's in pain. She's really struggling with her foot at the minute. So you're very, very lucky to have her on.
You are. Think yourself lucky.
Me, what's wrong with your foot, Deb? What have you done to your foot?
I broke it. I ran the wheelie bin over it a few weeks ago, and turns out I broke it, but it's black and it's just not good.
No, not good. And pain's not great when it won't let you sleep, will it?
No, like I've just said to you, I resorted to morphine this afternoon, and I did actually get a couple of hours sleep, so that was good.
Yeah, but that's not you, really, is it? That's not you at all.
No, far from it.
I've entered my napping area. For some reason, I've suddenly started napping in the afternoon. And, like, you have a good excuse for yours. You get up at dawn, at the crack of dawn, yeah? So you're entitled to your afternoon snooze.
Yes.
I get to 2:45 now, and I'm like me bleeding dad. I just nod off in chair before I went. I said to him, I'm going to have to go and have a lie down, so I'm right for live stream.
Yeah, I've got to lie down. I can't nap in chair. I've never been able to nap on the sofa. If I'm going to nap, it's got to be in bed.
Well, for the first time ever, I can actually see the chat. So if anybody has any questions or anything like that when we're going through, stick them in capitals for me, and I can actually put them up on the screen so you can ask me and Deb whatever you want.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about Claire's account that we've just done, and there's something I need to clear up. I noticed at the very end of the premiere, I call her Mona, right? And Claire is not a fake name. The fake name is Mona.
Right.
So used to going to witnesses and having to give them a fake name because they don't want the name there and they don't want the voice out there, that I did that automatic without thinking. So when I named her Mona because it means the moon. Yeah. So when I sent it over to her, I said, have a listen to it. Tell me what you think. And she said, I don't mind you using my name at all. And I was like, right, okay. So I went back and redid it. But I've left one Mona in at the end. So but I was so grateful to her because she was so transparent. And she was just like, look here, this is where I live. This is what I'm experiencing. I've been, experiencing it for a long time. I think the initial encounter was 2009.
Yeah.
So she lives, I'm trying to say, if you're an American and you're unsure, on the border of England and Scotland is where Hadrian's Wall runs and separates us. There's an area called Northumberland, and it's like the northwest of England.
Beautiful.
It's a mix in it between Scotland and England, really. It's an amazing place. So, and the River Tweed runs there. Now, like most rivers in the UK, there are a number of Sasquatch and Dogman reports along them. And Scotland, as we know, the border towns, the border places, is just so many reports. It's unbelievable. And me and you've just finished on the Moncton case, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which was so Claire's going to go up to Moncton in the coming months and go and have a wander around and see what her and a friend can come up with.
Yeah.
But not for me. That's a young girl's job. It's not for me, that one. So what have you been up to? What? Because I know are you working on your next video?
I am working. I've just started it, actually, but obviously the pain has given me Tourette's.
Yeah.
So every now and again, I have a bit of a yell out because it's like somebody's hammering a nail down my back of my nail. So it's not been easy to record narration, really.
Well, Brian, somebody asked in the chat, didn't they, that I should write books, and I never tell people that I've wrote books.
I don't either.
I don't know why. I don't want to be one of those people who goes, I'm Debbie and I wrote a book.
Yeah.
So I forget all the time.
Somebody will say, so if I'm on a live, somebody will go, have you got a book? Have you got a book, Deb? And I go, oh yeah, I've got two.
Yeah, I've got two. When I wrote mine when my dad was passing away.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
If I can't handle something, I write, don't I, Max? What I do, I just disappear into it. And I know it's a distraction technique and I shouldn't do it. But that's how I cope with things. Yeah. And I had a lot of questions rolling around in my head about the paranormal. Because I'd grown up with a don't
Yeah.
And then when I got to the end with him, he was like, you promise me that you'll stop running from it. Yeah, you promise me that, like, when you leave here today, you'll do what you can with it. You'll run with it, kind of thing. So it was a big big turning point. That was a turning point for me in my life where I was trying to weigh. I don't know. I suppose I was just trying to. You know yourself, Deb. You just lost your dad. When you lose your parent, it doesn't matter how old you are, you feel adrift.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
And that was my way of like clinging to a raft. I think was like write it all down and go back to being a kid. My dad always believed me.
Yeah.
He never doubted what happened to me in the park, the things I saw in my room. My dad completely believed me because he knew me.
Yeah.
You know, your dad
My
knows.
mum was the same. Yeah.
So my mum's never really not believed me, Deb. Was just so ashamed of like all the paranormal stuff that she wasn't ready to have conversations about it at all. And then like when my dad passed, so many things happened. So like we went to his memorial and it was inside, we were in the hospice.
Yeah.
What they do is once a month they hold a service for anybody that's passed that month, you know. So we went. It was like November 2018. And we're there inside and we're talking and they mention his name because he read everyone's name out. And a white feather, I'm not kidding, come from the ceiling and landed on my mum's knee.
Yeah.
And my mum looked at me and I looked at my mum. She was all flustered. And then we went outside and they were talking about different things. He named the place that he worked. There were so many serendipities in what he said. I could see the shock on her. And she said that New Year she was in bed and she heard him shout her.
Yeah.
And she said to me, when do you think, there was more than that. There was like loads of things that happened. But then she was like, when do you think he'll get a sign? It was like, bloody hell, Mum.
How many more do you want?
You know, how loud do you need him to shout kind of thing? Like, you've been getting signs all the way that he's there, you know. And he's like, well, it was really unusual, I tell you, Deb. And it was just, I just sat down and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote until I come out the other side of it, probably about the March or something like that.
Yeah.
I was on an investigation when I found out he was ill. People don't realise that. I'd gone to Macclesfield, down where Kiz lives, and probably early 2018, something like that.
Right.
And it was when I first started doing the meetups and inviting people out. So a few people came out and met us and they walked up to the Macclesfield Forest. I couldn't get up there. So I waited down at the bottom for him and I said, you lot go up and I'll sit at the bottom. And I got the phone call. Said, you need to come. He's gone to the hospital and this, you know, you need to come.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, guys, I'm sorry. And I packed up. I got on train. I didn't even have my glasses. I'd left my glasses behind and everything. And a right mess and just went straight to hospital kind of thing. So that was my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
But it made me comfortable then with the paranormal stuff that was going on. It was like, I don't know. I kind of found my feet at that point, Deb, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it were you when you came to see me and we started talking about stuff that happened to me from being a kid. It were you that sparked me into writing a book. You went, you used to be getting all this written down, and I'm like, I've never really thought about it before. So, yeah.
I mean, I remember saying it to you. You should write it all down and share it with people. I mean, how many people have you met since you've made that book?
Loads.
Yeah, I mean, that young lad straight away.
Yeah.
He saw the similar creatures to you. And for anybody who doesn't know, Deb, what year was it, Deb? Can you remember?
93.
93. She was driving back from York with a rubbish car and got this awful feeling of dread, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then there was something at the side of the road, which happens quite often in the UK. How you carried on driving after that, I'll never know.
I don't know either. I just needed to get away. I knew that because it were massive. And then obviously when it stepped out into the road after I'd gone past, I'm like, what the hell was that? Yeah,
what was it? Is it for Claire? It was different. She didn't feel any fear with it.
Yeah.
But yours was different. You had a feeling of foreboding anyway, miles before you saw it.
Yeah.
So it was a negative entity, whatever name we're going to put on it, it was there for a negative reason, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it makes you wonder why some people have, like Claire, didn't feel scared and had quite a positive experience, and other people like me, that was to induce fear and terror and God knows what. I don't know why, because I am quite in tune with stuff. Just I've never been able to work that out, why it felt the need to scare me like that.
I think that was its purpose. I think using Claire as an example, that was a stumbled into something. It was there. It had already checked out her energy.
Yeah.
She just kind of saw it and that was it. And the same with the Sasquatch creature, but with you, it was there to frighten you. That's what it was there for.
Yeah.
And we've had reports coming since the last live. We've had someone get in touch, haven't we? And you knew exactly the lane that they were on. And you said to me, Deb, there's no pavement there or anything. It was whatever was there. It was a running figure that she saw. It was there. I think it was just going through this pattern, you know. But you live in Yorkshire. It's
Caloop.
There's like, people always mention Cannock Chase when it comes to dogmen and things like that. Cannock Chase got nothing on Yorkshire because it goes back generations all the way to the Flicks and Werewolf and before that. There's so many reports of dogmen on that coast where you fortunately for you.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately for you. But yeah, it's the old stinker, Beast of Barnston Drain. I'm trying to think of the names of it. There's a chap called Chris on earlier. I hope he's joined us in the live, and he was saying that there was one at Bollen. And I wanted to point out to him that it kind of starts at Kent and just goes up that coast and just keeps till you get to the Northumberland border, and then you cross over and it just keeps going to Nairn.
Yeah.
And Claire's situated in that border bit there where, like you said it before, like we're so lucky when we see them. Not lucky, but to catch a sight of them, you know. And
I mean, you look how vast it is up there. I mean, the Highlands of Scotland are quite, you know, a lot of that's not been explored, so there could be anything living in there. And if that's the case, and they are so elusive, then we are lucky to see them when we do.
Yeah, I think we only see the males, Deb, because they're moving through an area.
Yeah,
you know? It's like these cave systems up there, these ample food sources. Whoa. When I was looking at the maps, it made me realise just how it was like Winter Hill. Like when you come out with me, we could just pick that landscape up and just chuck it there.
Yeah.
And it's craggy and it's wooded and
remote.
There's not a lot of people moving about there at night time, you know.
Yeah.
It's ideal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the cases I mentioned, I'm going to go with Mark. We went up last night to try and get to the location of the bear man. And back in the 90s when it happened, it was a number of... We used to go to the raves at night. And then after, when they'd shut like 3 or 4 in the morning, everyone would go and meet at Rivy Services. And then you follow the cars up and then it wasn't really a car park. It was just like this dusty bit at the end of the lane. And about 15, 20 minutes from the gardens, middle of nowhere. And you just blare the tunes, like they still do it now. Put the tunes and you just go home in the morning when the sun come up. So she needed a pee. And they've all got the cars in a circle, right? So the lights are on. So she sneaks off into the woods to have a pee. And she said, she's got her knickers down and everything. She goes to have a wee. And this thing walks out of the woodland out. She said it was about 7 foot tall, really big and thick and muscular. It had a snouted mouth, like Claire said, almost like a baboon mouth. And she said it called it the bear man. And as she went to run away, she snapped her ankle.
Ow.
Yeah, and shattered it. She had to have an operation on it. So it was really, really like stuck in her memory. She knew the exact day. Like, I know the day I had my accident was the 16th of April, 2006. It was life-changing. So you know the date kind of thing. And she did. So we went up last night, didn't we, to try and get the car there, and we couldn't. Yeah. So I'm going to try another way. I'm going to try coming in a different way later on.
Right.
But what was strange, well, it wasn't strange, it was beautiful. It was red hot down here. It's been horrible, hasn't it? So we went up top and we just sat there watching this kestrel, me and him, like you do, Friday night.
Oh, yeah. And kind of Friday night, that.
Yeah, that kind of Friday night. And we just seen the clouds coming in, and it was like, oh, thank God. So I got out there. I'd gone up the lane to feed. Horses were out, so I took them a load of mint up. So I'd gone up there to feed them. And as I was hobbling back, I thought, no. And then I was like, it's raining. So it was amazing. Yeah, and it's rained all day for us. We've had it all day. It's been lovely.
No, we only got it overnight. I woke up and I thought, oh, it's been raining. I'm glad I shut bedroom window now, otherwise I would have a puddle.
No, it's been really nice. It's dead grey, and like I know we moan about the weather us Brits, but like my garden needed it, Deb. It's been through a lot. I didn't do the lawn, I didn't do any of that. I just saved me little pots, got them all in the shade and kind of saved them and done my best with it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all right now. So before we come on, I said to you, if we get a chance, we'll talk about the haunted house in Lincolnshire. And you was like, what's haunted house in Lincolnshire? And I was like, the whole case that I did, and he was like, "No, I don't know anything about it."
Fill me in.
I don't think I've ever. I think I've done a live about it, but on other people's lives. I don't think I've ever done my own live on it. Kind of thing. So the mum's called Chrissy, and she lives with her partner Simon, and she's got 3 children to her previous partners. Right?
Okay.
So in 2020, there's been a lot of activity at the house. So in 2020, she contacted the team. I think they called Help My House is Haunted. And she lives in Sutton Bridge in Lincolnshire. So that's, for anyone who doesn't know, that's where Wisbech is, Kings Lynn kind of area.
Yeah.
You've got the River Nene, and there's another river, I can't remember the name of it. They call it the Nene Washes, don't they? And they empty out together in the same place. So her house that she lives in was built in 1830 by George and I can't remember his name, his wife's name, Petts. George Petts built it with his wife. Now, when Chrissy, the mum of the house, I'm trying to make it as less complicated as I can.
Right.
25 years ago, her and her husband got dogs and decided they want to buy a house right on the coast. That's what they do want to do. And like she said, price range, you got to look for something that's a doer-upper, that's falling apart. That's the only way you're going to get it. And they went and they saw this house, and she said, I absolutely loved it. It was a rack and ruin, but I loved it. But the woman said to her, I don't want to sell it to you. It's really, really unlucky. And like, I lost my son at the end of the lane on a bicycle. He died on a bicycle. And you seem like such a lovely person, and I don't want to sell the house to you.
Right.
Her name was either Mrs. Morris or Mrs. Morey. I always get it wrong. But Chrissy was determined, and she said it felt like home. So she said we were so excited when she agreed to sell it us. We went and sat down with Mum and Dad, Sunday dinner. And she said, so we surprised Mum and Dad and say, like, surprise, we found the house. And Mum's like, oh, where is it? And she gives them the address, and she goes, you silly cow, you were born in that house.
Really?
That much activity went on when you were a baby in the cot. We left and we sold it to a lady called Mrs. Moore.
Wow.
So she bought the house that she'd been born in, that her parents left because of the activity around her. Now, her Granny Prothero, also saw spirit. And she said she was in church one day when she was a little girl and she could see spirit. And her grandma looked at her and said, you can see them, can't you? And she went, yeah, I can. And her grandma said, yes, so can I, Chrissy.
Right.
So she didn't have any big fear or trauma behind any of it, Deb.
No.
It was more curiosity. So she said, I said to her, how soon after you moved in did activity start? She had the first night. The first night it was banging on the door, like slamming and banging and bangs and noises in the house. She said over a period of time, she saw a dark figure who always stood kind of at the end. And she said it was an old pump house back then. I think they're on the coast.
Yeah.
So it was an old pump house, and it used to be, now it's a garage. But she said somebody who lived at the house would have looked after that pump house.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's where she'd see him, this like dark, ominous presence, as she called it. So she has her first husband, she said they would like that. They got together, they were everything. They moved in the house, she said he became a different man. His personality changed, he became very depressed and angry. And they split up. And when he left the home, he was back to his normal self. So, years go by and she's still got this haunting going on. She meets another chap and she said it was exactly the same thing, Jeff. Exactly the same thing. As soon as he moved in the house, he was a completely different person.
It's like it works on male energy then, isn't it?
Yeah. And it would make them very depressed, dark thoughts, things that they should, they're on the coast, and it's like, this is what you need to go and do kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really, really awful energy, but only at the men. And I said to her when we first started talking, because I knew there was 3 kids in the house, and I said to her, how are you feeling? She was like, I'm fine. I've got it. I'm handling it. I just want to understand. I just want to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
So the children began seeing things around the home. One of the boys drew what he saw in a corner, and he kind of scribbled like a dark, just like not really a human shape, but that was the corner of his room. And that twigged me from being a kid. I was like, I hope it's not a situation like that. And lucky it wasn't. So long story short, she calls the paranormal team to come in, and they did. They come in and they said to her, "We think it's a male presence, and he's just not happy with, you know, people being around the home and things like that." It was an old farmhouse, but they didn't really do any digging because they don't do that in that kind of situation. No. They go in and they prove it's a haunting. Well, she didn't need me to prove there was a haunting. She needed me to kind of do the background work on it to work out what this connection, why did she have so many spirit coming through?
Yeah.
So what I can do, actually, I'm going to play the first one for you, Deb, and I'll explain. Her youngest child, whose name begins with a J, gets up very, very early in the morning. He's autistic, and she was worried about him. So they put a CCTV into the property.
Right, makes sense, yeah.
He was okay. And she said, I'm waiting for a Tesco delivery, and there's a security light on the old pump house, and it'll only come on if someone comes into the drive.
Right, yeah.
They're waiting. She said, I think it clicks on. She said, and I think, oh, delivery's here. Dogs are going mad and everything. Nothing. No one out there. So she sits down and listens to it, and it sounds like garbled voices in water. And I've sent it out to a few people, and they've got things like, help, I'm drowning. Please save me. Help me. How's the boy?
Wow.
Really, really hard when you're a mum, you know, to hear all of that going on. So this is not the first video she sent me. What she said was she saw the CCTV went in March, and she contacted me April, May time. And she was like, Deb, this is just a fifth. There's nothing of what we've got here, but can you look at these? These are the most prominent. So let me see if I can share it. There's normally a way, isn't there, where you can share your screen.
Yeah. I don't show it on mine, but on this one, but it does on mine.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, shit, where have I gone? Oh, no.
Where have I gone?
Where have I gone? Oh, no.
She's gone black.
What have I done?
Well, it's just me now. So, what's going on in the chat? Oh, Brian wants to know how long a piece of string is. It depends how long you cut it. I haven't got an answer for that. Oh, she's back up.
I may, right, let me have a look. I've done it before.
Yeah, it says share screen somewhere, or is it present?
That's what I'm trying to find. Layout, private chat, destinations. Let's try settings. Yeah. Oh, I really want to share
God, now
it.
my screen's going weird, right?
Christ. I don't know how to do it now.
I haven't got a clue because, like I say, I could do it on mine, but I can't do it on yours. So
no, I know. I can. The only thing I could do is put a link in the chat so other people can see it. But I'll send it you, right? I can still tell the tale without showing it you. I'll send it you as soon as we finish. So we got to the point where she was like, right, what's going on? I don't understand what's going on. Sorry, I'm in a bit of pain. So
you know that one.
I got the first impression that I got was that it was something to do with the landowner. So there was a male, and he wasn't happy with other males being in the area. He wasn't happy with all the modernisation that had taken place. Because Chrissy said something and it stuck in my mind, and I said, how do you feel with it? And she said, I feel tolerated.
Right.
Because she said, I moved into the house and it was a complete wreck. And we've put it back to what it would have been. We've restored it. You know, we've spent a lot of money on it. There's a lot of love gone into it.
Yeah.
And she said, I was determined not to leave. It was almost like a battle of wills with him.
Yeah.
To the point where he became almost like, well, actually, girl, I don't mind you. You can stay here. I like what you're doing, but him, it almost came like that situation for her.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I need to do some digging. I need to go back. And one thing I kept getting in my head was that normally around the world, if you live on a coastal area, at some point a ship will get wrecked and those timbers will get used in the house. You know, attic, lintels, whatever. Yeah. So I said to her, how old's the house? And she was like, it was built 1830. By a man called George Pett. So I was like, right, okay, let me have a look. Boom, I find it. Right. So it's a newspaper cutting. And on the day, there was 9 people on the boat. 7 people from Sheffield had come down for a day trip, and they were going to go out, get mackerel and some samphire and come back in. Lovely sunny day. The guy who's piloting the boat is Richard Burton, and his son's called Bernard Burton. They go out, everything's fine, they do what they're doing, they're coming back in, quick score, boat goes down. One of the little boys who died on the boat, his name was Jay. Only one woman survived, one lady from Sheffield. The rest of them all down. They were brought up onto the beach in front of where the house was being built.
Right.
And I thought, that's a connection. We've got 4 children who've drowned, and she's there, and she's a mum.
Yeah.
And the kids are in the house, and it's happy and fun, and there's a lot of laughter going on. And that's where I'd go if I was lost out there in the washes.
Yeah.
That's where I'd go.
Yeah,
so
somewhere lively.
On her own, she's like, right, I'm going to find the graves. So she goes and finds the grave, puts a little teddy there, and and says to him, like, it's okay to go home to your mum and dad, but if you want to come and play with us at any point, So I thought, that's not it. There's more. It was niggling at me, Deb, right?
Yeah.
Niggling at me. So I'd been on Ancestry looking at something of my aunt. I'd worked on Ancestry that day, and I thought, oh, go and have a look. Go and have a look and see on Ancestry if you can find the house. Because obviously I've got the address and everything.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. So I know it's complicated, but the man who built the house was called George Petts. He had a son, Samuel Petts, who owned all of the land around. He was a sheep farmer. He had a smoker there. He was a bit grumpy, not known to be great with other men, but perfectly fine with females. And I think he kind of got to the point where he tolerated Chrissy, but he didn't want any other men around. And I said, so you're going to have a stern talk with him. They're like, this is my house now. And if, you need to behave in it if you want to still be part of this. So I keep singing and I'm like, oh my God, I found it. So the pilot of the boat was called Bernard Burton. And the man who built the house was called George Petts. His daughter, Sarah, married Bernard Burton. So they were family.
Right.
So they'd been through that house, celebrations, birthdays, Christmases, weddings, 21st. The house has had the Petts and the last name's gone. Just gone. Burtons and the Burtons. They've been in the house for ages doing that. So when you see the videos, I'm going to have to put them out. I'll put them out on my community page in a bit for people so they can see them. They're there. They're up in public on my account. I just did everything I could today thinking, I'll get them up and I'll show them, Deb.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to see if I can go in on me. Thinking about it, I might be able to go in on my laptop and share via there. 1 second. So long story short, the house basically was a family house and it had connections to that crash. She then starts automatic drawing because I said to her, what do you do to like chill out, like relax in that side of your brain? She went, nothing, I've got 3 boys. But when I was a kid, when I was younger, she said, I used to draw. I used to sit down and sketch people and faces and stuff. And I said to her, do that. That. And she sketched. It looked like a picture of a small boy. And we realised that a lot of the stuff that was going on around the house, it wasn't menacing. It was just, I want to be here. This is like where I want to be. And I think that's why the children were experiencing stuff. And I know for a fact that the activity will amp up when one of the boys is there, the youngest boy.
Right.
Seems to be around him. So there's actually a video of me and her talking on the phone. And you can hear my voice in the background. And the orbs are just going mental everywhere around him. Like, I'm doing my absolute best here to get it up for you. You can hear me talking and the orbs are just all around this boy. And I just thought, it's him, isn't it? He's a little boy and that little boy's lost out there at sea. So I started looking up how many people had gone into the water at that point, Deb. And when I hit 100, I stopped.
Whoa.
Like, that's what it is. It is literally...
graveyard.
Yeah, in all honesty. And all those souls are out there, aren't they?
Yeah. And that's the nearest point to there.
Yeah, so it's like a literal lighthouse of souls, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the thing. Well, I'm in StreamYard now, so we might get to do this.
Ooh.
Right, I'm coming on my other account 1 sec. Make sure it's on mute. I'm sure it might be because I'm thinking because I'm on my iPhone, it won't let me do it, but it might let me do it on here.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to try and do. I think I'm in. I think I've got into the studio. Right. Let's have a look.
Have a look.
Present.
Present. That's the one.
Let me see. Got it. I think I can do this, Deb.
Brilliant. I don't even know if you can hear me or not. I'm down at bottom.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, good. That's good.
Come on.
I'm just catching up with chat.
CCTV image from inside a home in Sutton Bridge on the Lincolnshire border. A family have lived there for over 25 years. What's the centre of the door?
Right.
My name's Deborah Hatswell. You see it?
Oh, Lordy, yes.
I put that through every analysis I could think of, and it has not been manipulated in any way, shape, or form.
No, you can see that. That's part of the video.
Those fingers are between the door and the door jamb. That's Chris's bedroom. So I'm going to play another one. Watch this one now. We're going to see loads of dark moving stuff, I think, if I've got the right video. Yeah, here we go. One sec.
Right, yeah.
Ready?
Oh, like a mist. Oh, yeah. I see that dark shadow there.
Yeah. See something run, don't you?
Yeah.
I'll flick it back a sec for people. Just that hand thing is just unbelievable, isn't it?
It is.
And this is just a tiny little bit of what she sent over to me. I just wanted to clip it together so I could show it to you.
Yeah.
Come on.
That hand looks like it's only got 4 fingers.
No, but yeah, I'm thinking, but the thumb would be on the other side of the door, wouldn't it, Deb? If it were grasping.
Yeah, perhaps I hadn't thought of that.
Well, what wood is that door made out of?
Well,
if that's from the crash, I think that hallway there that we're seeing is the original part of the stone farmhouse that was built in the 1830s. Because obviously a lot of modernisation's gone on since then. Right, 1 second. Let me check that one off. No, there's another one I wanted to show you. See if I can do it. Yeah, it's letting me. Oh, I'm so glad I saved them all this week now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got the dark one. Let me have a look. I hope that this... No, that's the wrong one.
You see, I'd be frightened to death leave a camera running in case I found something I didn't want to see.
No, I know what you mean. I keep saying I'm going to take myself at night.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I thought, no, I won't dare listen to it back because I often hear things in my bedroom. Yeah.
That was when they were packing up the house to move this one. So they have actually moved now. She cleared everything, sent everybody over. Let me get into these. I'm just so glad I could do that.
Yeah.
So now I know if I need to share anything, I need to be doing it. Let me get myself back in. Am I there? How do I get that picture off now, Deb?
You need to go to the things that show you settings for layouts on your screen.
Right. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do the cold drink mark, please. So what did you think of that hand?
Creepy.
It's got to be connected to kids, hasn't it?
I reckon it's only a small hand. Is that if you look at the size of the door and whatever, it's quite high up, but it's a small hand.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And it's like, it looks like something dark runs really quickly.
Yeah.
Out of the, you know, like, oh God, it's caught me kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wondered if the little lad was getting up playing with it. Maybe that's why he was getting out of bed early when he was so young, you know. Yeah. He's getting up and playing with this little boy, Bernard Burton.
Being woken up to play.
I know. One of the older children started seeing things on the, thank you, darling, started seeing things on the ceiling, and Chrissy wasn't happy with that. She didn't like that, and I agreed with her on that one.
Yeah.
Because it could have gone really negative. If I'd have gone in and gone, oh, it's a demon, it's going for kids and all, it'd have gone really dark and negative, wouldn't it? When you think some lost souls that are out there at sea that are just looking for home, you know?
Yeah, and like you say, if you stop counting at 100, how many more are there? That's a hell of a lot. And they're not all going to be souls that aren't lost, are they? They're going to be looking for somewhere to...
There was another bit that I wanted to tell you. It's just come back into me, right? I wanted to look and see maybe if there was anything about the boat that was odd. Do you know what it was? I was looking at me mum had asked me to find out my granddad's naval records.
Right, yeah.
When he came out of the Navy, he was never allowed to tell anybody where he'd been. And I think a lot of people thought he was a bullshitter. So I said to my mum, oh, it's really easy, mum. You just get hold of the armed forces and you give it, all I need is a death certificate and they'll let me have them. So it was like a 2-page list of all the boats that my granddad. So it kind of clicked in my head and I thought, oh, I'll have a look at the boat and see, is there anything strange about that? Bernard, the older Burton, they call them pilots, don't they? The boat pilot.
Yeah, pilot, yeah. Captain pilot.
Bought the boat 3 months before. It had washed up in King's Lynn with 3 dead men on it, and nobody knew who they were.
Right.
And that was the boat that they died on. He bought that 3 months later. He died with his son on that boat.
Mm.
There was 2 other ships that were named after the boat and both of them went down at sea with everyone on it.
Something cursed about that, then, I reckon.
Yeah, there's just something, you know, why were they dead on that boat? What had happened to them? You know, it was a tiny little, he just said he'd bought the boat in King's Lynn. There was 3 dead men on it and they were never named. Nobody knew how they died. So like a ghost ship, really. He bought a boat. Was taking people from Sheffield out on day trips.
Yeah, that's
a big thing back in the Victorian days. Wanted it to go to the seaside. It was
that's it.
Yeah. It's just the idea. It's so sad. There was an engaged couple on it. They'd gone out that day to celebrate their engagement, and there was a mum and dad and their children. Yeah, and they'd all kind of died. And I just said, like you said, it was like this, just like a lighthouse, this beacon of just come home, like come here.
There's loads of energy that's drawing them in, isn't there?
Yeah, she spent the last year moving everything over, so she'll sit down and she'll start to automatically sketch. And that's how she contacts the spirit. And then she'll say to him, look, you know, you can go home. You don't have to stay here. You should go back to get the loved ones to come in. And she kind of got to it automatically. I didn't have to teach her anything.
A bit like Spirit Rescue.
Yeah, a bit like Spirit Rescue.
Yeah.
She just needed me to do the digging, like the digging of trying to put them clues together of why. Why is it happening in that house? What's happened there? At first I thought, it'll be connected to the piece of furniture. It's a Victorian house. So there's some furniture they brought in, you know what I mean? Or there'd be a burial on the thing.
Or an old fireplace or something linking.
Well, she did find one of them. She said there was this place that was like rubble when they first moved in, and they start clearing it, and eventually they get into it to do it up, and it was an old smokehouse, like a brick smokehouse.
Right.
And like it looked like proper wood that you hung the fish over that had come off a ship, you know, really decent wood, like oak or something like that. And I thought, I wonder if that's the source of it. But I didn't put the audio on. That's one thing I haven't played tonight because it's really disturbing.
Right.
It's disturbing. You can hear children and all kind. It was awful. I asked the ladies in our chat group, I was like, ladies, if you're up for it, could you have a listen to it and see what you guys come back with? And they all came back with the same name without having a conversation. And it was the name of a youngest son.
Was that in the WhatsApp one?
Yeah.
I'll have to go look through that because I only kind of scanned through.
No, I think it was at the time when your dad was poorly, you know.
Oh, that far back. That's probably right. I missed it then.
It was early last year, something like that. And it was just, I popped Chrissy in because I said to her, I'll pop you into a group with women, you know, because they'll all chat with you and you'll know you're not a nutcase and you're completely normal, because that's what most of them are in there for, aren't they? Because they need to. But yeah, and this activity happened since then, since I've spoken to her, but I haven't shared it. I've not approached her about sharing it because I wanted just to get settled.
Yeah.
And then she said to me about a month ago, you know, I really want to talk about it. And it was like, well, it's time then, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's time to do that.
Exactly.
But, I'd love to get in touch with the new people as well and see if. But I mean, I wouldn't intrude on anybody like that. But serendipity at some point down the line, you never know. Will they experience anything?
Yeah. That's amazing.
And then tie those boys in, Deb, to that little lad who's died at the end of the lane. That were his house as well.
Yeah.
So he's probably just been coming in and out, hasn't he? Going home.
Yeah.
So let's have a look.
It's expected, really, I suppose, when you think about it like that, isn't it?
Yeah. She sent me the picture, and it was quite disturbing. I didn't like it, and I sent it to Jodie, and Jodie said to me, "Mum, look at it like a mum or a nan." Mm-hmm. And I looked at it again, and I said, "Oh my God, it's a little boy," and he's smiling because the way she'd drawn him, he looked like he was grimacing, like this dark face. But when Jodie looked at him, she saw a little boy who was smiling, grinning. So like you said, each person can see it in a different way, can't they? So when I took the research head off and looked at it like a nan, I was like, it is. He's been recognised. He's had his story told, hasn't he? Yeah. She's gone and found his grave. There's not many people that go out the way to do that.
No, there isn't.
But I've got a photo. She sent it me of a little teddy bear that she'd put on grave. Just lovely, isn't it? And I just thought she's a really nice person. And I said to her, "Are you like me? Do people just come and tell you the life story?" She went, "Yeah." She went, "I get on the bus. People tell me the life story. I go to the library." I said, "Yeah, that happens to me all the time." Yeah. It's to you, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah. I used to get on buses when I was younger before I learnt to drive, and I could guarantee I'd always have a mega conversation with somebody. I could be the only one sat upstairs, and somebody would come and sit next to me and tell me the life story.
I tell you. Yeah, it happens to me everywhere I go, doesn't it, Mark? Yeah. Yeah. He's silently in the corner. He's not dropping in tonight, are you?
No.
No.
I'm miles away tonight.
Oh, right. We're not going to be here next week, guys.
No.
No, it's Appleby Fair, isn't it? So, at the weekend, so I'm taking some time off with Mark.
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy myself and stuff.
But, might as well.
Yeah, I've worked hard last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I got reported for working on the side again? I told you the recent one. Oh, no, it's funny, Deb. It's funny.
Oh, come on.
I get his letter again saying, like, I'd had the audacity to go out in nature and walk around in the sunshine and stuff. Because, like, I don't know if they mix being disabled and werewolves up, Deb. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Go outside. Yeah. So he gets this letter off him again, right? They've reported you again, Deb. Like, we're really sorry and all that. We just come in one last time while we have a chat. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. So I go in there and she's talking away to me. And I said to her, here's me phone. Like, get me videos up. Have a look. There's my channel. She's like, ah, oh, I love out like this. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I'm going to subscribe to you. She went, are you on TikTok? I went, no. She went, make a TikTok account. I was like, really? She went, yeah, that'll get to him. Make a TikTok account and go out and film. I was like, didn't you, Mark? He was sat with me. And I went, you know what? I'm going to. She went, you do that. And then when they report you, I can watch the video when he comes. I'm not kidding, Jeff. So I said to him, if I wanted to do a clickbait title, it would be the Department of Work and Pensions forced me to TikTok. Yeah. And I'm not, honest to God, that all took place last month. She was like, look, we're sick of it. It's the same writing every time. We know you're not doing out wrong. Because I'm so transparent with him, Deb. Nowadays, the tax man sees everything that goes in your bank. Yeah, he has access to your bank account. There's nothing you can do like that, So you've got to be legitimate and upfront. It's none of that double books are out there.
No, you can't do that anymore.
I thought I've seen more doctors in the last 2 years in a bleeding hospital. Yeah, so like I'm quite sure if I was swinging the lead, they'd have chucked me out. You know, like
I would have thought so.
But honestly, it was like one of them. Oh, Deb, we're sorry. Will you just come in again?
Yeah, you see, even they know that the other ones are skanks, ones that are reporting you.
Make any sense? It's the best place in the world to be in nature in it if you're ill or you're under the weather or you don't feel.
Encourage you to go out.
Yeah, that's what she kind of said to me. Yeah, I said, I'm really sorry I get off my bed and cause you all this stress all the time. She was brilliant with me, wasn't she, Mark? Yeah. She was so funny, but she went, oh, I'm going to subscribe to you.
Nice one.
She went, do you do investigations and that? I went, yeah, I do sometimes. She went, oh, please make a TikTok channel. And then she started telling me about all of her favourite TikTokers and what they do. So I was like, you could write this. I said to him when we come out, that was bleeding brilliant. That didn't half make me day, that one. Nobody would believe me if I tried writing that one down.
Talk about a backfire.
She said to me, these days, lots of people are content makers. It's what they do. It's a job we recognise now, you know. Yeah. And actually said to me, get yourself some equipment, but that's what you need to do. We'll help you expand your business. And I was like, oh my Lord. She was like, no, we will do, because you're out there, you're doing it yourself. You're not asking us for any money. And we can help you advance that. So I was like, right, brilliant, thank you.
Go for it.
Letters. So we bought some decent equipment.
Yeah. See, that complaint there has done you a favour. They need to shut themselves up, really, because they're showing themselves up now, aren't they?
It just don't make any sense to me. It's like, stop finding me.
Yeah.
Stop finding me. Yeah. Well, we went out last night, didn't we? We went up to, like I say, tried getting near the Terrace Gardens, far higher than where me and you were sat. It goes up further. But it's that kind of road, Deb, that you can't drive it. You've got to walk in. There's no way I'm getting in there. So the only thing I can think of doing is there's one car park a bit further on at the next reservoir that looks exactly the same that I can drive into.
Right.
So I think I'm going to do it there and say this is the nearest that I can get. Yeah.
You know when we went to the cafe at Rivington. I noticed that I know one road leads up to a pub and a cafe where all bikers go, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And there's another one that went straight on.
Yeah.
Where does that? Is there kind of a roadway around there, around Rivington Pike? You
kind of drive round the bottom of it. It's called Lower Rivington.
Right.
So where we were was much higher up. We were on Winter Hill. Right. So then you've got White Coppice, which is another one. And you've got angles out, so it's like a series of huge hills. And you can drive down the bottom. But if you've got a Lanny, you probably could. If you was in a Land Rover, see them go up a lot. They probably could. But my car, no, it'll knacker me tyres. I've done it on a horse a few times, haven't I? Yeah. Really easy on an horse because they just plod up there. They just But they closed where me and you were. They closed that off because people be going on the fields and stuff, and he's really unhappy about it.
Yeah, don't blame him.
Yeah, there's no sheep gone in them fields since about 2021. He's not, horses are still out, but sheep are not. But I went in last week and I did a video talking about when me and you went up. A lady called Claire got in touch with me, and she said I really wanted to go. She said it looked so good that day, and I wanted to go, and I couldn't make it. A couple of weeks later, a friend drove her over. And she said, I was sat at Wilders Wood, that was where me and you were sat. And she said, I see this guy come walking down the hill and walk into the wood, but you could see through him. He was transparent. I was like, oh, right. I said, the mines are up there.
Yeah.
There going on. Used to be a row of pots in that wood. So they must have been really old, Deb, because they had stone water catchment systems.
Oh,
so they put one down and they'd have had this big thing for water. And said to me, does the name Winstanley ring a bell? I said, no, not at all. Don't know anyone called Winstanley. It doesn't ring a bell. She's like, anything about the area? I was like, no. I was like, the Scotchman's Pike, and that's where they found a man murdered on the moor, probably about 1900, and they built a monument to him. Right. It was like, oh, Winstanley. So completely nothing to do with it. I'm working on the Wigan accounts, and I just seen the name Winstanley, and I was like, what's that? And it's the mine that runs underneath. It's called the Winstanley Mine.
Right.
And she could not have known that because, I had to find it because there's a report on the other end of the mine of these evil dwarves. So they got reported so often, Deb, they sent the army down there. And when the army went down, they found a dead man.
Right.
And that was it. No, that were it. It were in the papers. They found a dead man down there. That were it. Nothing else. So I'm trying to do like you. I'm trying to find out whatever I can about that story, and that's when I find the Winstanley mine. There's no way she'd have known that.
That's brilliant.
Just like that. And I said to her, I bet he's been coming home from mine.
Yeah.
And you've seen him as he's gone in there.
Stig's popped a question up. I think he thinks we've missed it. Hang on. It says
this one.
At what point? Yeah. At what point did you go from skeptics? God, I can't even say it. Skeptics to believers, both Debs.
Right, Stig, I'm going to be right honest with you. When I was a kid and I saw stuff, that was devils, and it was my fault, and I was naughty. So by the time I was about 8 or 9, I shut that down. Right down. And if you'd have spoken to me about ghosts, even up till about 5 years ago, you say, I've never seen a ghost. I've never seen a ghost. I was ashamed. And before I saw that thing in the park, I didn't believe in anything. I was a complete and utter skeptic. But if we took that out, Stig, take that event out and say what other than that event, what would I class as paranormal in my life? I have literally seen things when other people have been in the same room as me and they've not noticed. And I've had to sit there and carry that conversation on all the time, wanting to go, you do know there's an old man stood at the back of you, don't I? learned so young to not say anything about that. What was it like for you? Because you've always believed, haven't you?
Yeah. I've never really been a skeptic, and I've always been open-minded. I mean, I think we're both same in that we can smell a bullshit a mile off. You know, somebody that says a pile of bin bags is a dogman family and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't sit here and say that somebody hasn't seen something when I've seen all the stuff that I've seen. I can't say, well, you haven't seen that, because I can't judge people like that. But I mean, it started when I was younger, but luckily, because my mum's side of the family were clairvoyant, I just used to blurt out what I'd seen. Like, I was laid on the floor one night and my mum had a china cabinet and it had like them twisty legs and then 4 things underneath. Yeah. And I were laid like you do on the floor. And it was like a photograph that was just floating in this gap underneath the china cabinet. And it was a bloke. And I said, I can see a man on a photograph. And my granny was there and my mum was there, and they were both asking me to describe what I was looking at. So I said, it's a man with white hair, and he's got a white doctor's jacket on. He's got glasses on. And I described him to a T, and my granny reckoned it was Albert Schweitzer that opened that hospital in Africa I can't remember when it was now, the 50s.
Wow, maybe you tuned in.
But and it's funny, I've never thought to look at his picture up until the last couple of years. And it pinged into my mind one morning and I thought, do you know what? I can remember what it looked like on the picture, but I'd never looked his picture up. And when I actually looked his picture up, it was him. But I thought, why would somebody send that picture, that situation to like a 6 or 7 year old kid?
Yeah, what's the connection? Yeah.
Why would I need to know who he was? Or
you were maybe the only mind at that time that could connect when he put it out there.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, like a catalyst kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like me, like John D. John D crept up all the time for me when I was a kid.
Yeah. You said that.
Just no connection to the guy whatsoever, anything like that. But I wouldn't have said I was a big believer. I remember my friends at school would see stuff like ghosts and that, and I used to think they were just taking Michael.
Yeah.
Or like, I tell you why, though. I mean, I'm coming from a different childhood. I remember telling my friend when I was little in primary, and I asked her, like, what she did about them things in the bedroom at night. She looked at me like I was an alien, and I knew then.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, not to share with anybody. But now there's loads of people from my school who contact me and say, I wish I'd have known, Deb, because I was seeing things at home. And, there's one lass lives in Colorado and we still chat now. Yeah. And she was like, if only I'd have known, because I was going through similar stuff when we were kids. And it's just a working class town. It's not something you talk about, No.
Same here, but I don't ever remember talking about it to my friends. Yeah. I had quite a few close friends. My best mate lived round corner and down hill, and I don't ever remember her telling her all these things that I was seeing, and I just sort of kept it to myself. But maybe that was because I always had my mum and that side of the family.
Yeah, you had your outlet.
Yeah. So maybe I didn't need to tell my friends because it was like a separate thing.
Well, me nan'd see the dead, but don't tell anyone. Like, my dad would see the dead, but don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone, yeah.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. I've seen my mum in 2 places at once. My mum can astral travel. She's always been able to do it.
I've only done that once.
I know. I remember you telling me. I can't do it. I've never. My Jodie did it and kept back in, and it terrified her.
I would love to do it again because it is really, it doesn't feel scary.
Right.
But it's, you're aware. It's the weirdest thing. You're aware and you're travelling like you're on your front in the middle of the air, travelling at speed. And it's like you've got to relax into it. If you start concentrating, that's when you lose it. And when it started happening, I broke off a dream and went into this astral travelling thing. And I thought, where do I want to go? And then I thought, I want to go see Everest. And I started hurtling along. And then I thought, oh, God, no, it's going to be too big and it'll frighten me. So I kind of slowed down. And then I kind of lost the track of it because I was concentrating too much on where I really wanted to go. But, yeah, I'd have a few places in mind now if it happened again. But obviously it hadn't.
My mum said she could just choose where she wanted to go. Yeah. And she could just do it. But she had one time when she couldn't get back in and it frightened her. And my Jodie's exactly the same. As Jodie, as a little girl, used to say to me, I can fly, Mum, when I'm asleep. And I'd ask her to tell me about it. And she'd say, I just run. I run and then I go up in the sky and then I can just fly anywhere I want to go. And then when she was in her early 30s, she was going through a bad time and she said, I couldn't get back into my body. I could see her there and I couldn't get back in and it terrified her. And she's never done it since. She's kind of shut herself down with it.
I think that would worry me.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? And I think with me, I'm a bit of a control freak. I can be honest on that. I'd be scared of giving me control up.
Yeah.
But do you know the witness who we had tonight, Claire?
Yeah.
She hypnotises people. And me and you have been wanting to get hypnotised for the longest time. And
regressed.
And I'm like, oh, I'm up for that. I'll film it, me, and everything. Get it filmed. Ask me about that day. Make me stand there and describe him to a T.
Yeah.
Take me back to my bedroom. As long as I'm safe, I can describe what's going on around me.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it'd be so cathartic to do that.
I do as well,
There's all of it. Yeah. And I don't have to carry it around with me anymore.
We need to get that sorted out.
Yeah. But I'd be well up for that. Yeah. And like, I'd love to do it for witnesses as well. Like, if they were up, even if it's private, like, if you can open something that gives you that little bit of strength over what you've got going on around you, you know?
Yeah.
It really boosts you, doesn't it? And you think, there's been times in my life, Deb, where I've been on my fucking knees, and I've been like, I can't do this, I can't. Yeah. It's too much. You're trying to deal with ordinary life, and then all this psychic crap going on around you and stuff. And then when I stopped running from it, and I accepted it was going on, and there was nothing I could do to change it, I started to get comfy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm so used to it. I'll be typing or I'll be working, and I go, "Oh no, not now."
Yeah, I'm busy.
The first week we moved in here, I walked out of the bathroom and I went, "No, not here." Yeah, and it didn't happen, did it, for about 2 years, and it started happening again now. But yeah, there's nothing I can do. My neighbours must think he knocked holes out of me the way I scream at night.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I'm screaming for no reason, like I'm under attack. But yeah, if I had to say to him, well, actually, it's because I've got a shadow demon at the side of my bed who's been trying to kill me since I was a baby.
Yeah. I threw you out a window.
Why did he save me that night, though, Deb, when I had appendicitis? If he was there all the time to scare me, that night before I went into hospital, I woke up and there was a string of smoke between me and him. Do you remember, Mark?
Yeah.
And I said to Mark, I don't know if he was putting something in me or taking something out of me. And the next day, my appendix burst.
Yeah.
But he saved me. I went to the hospital, I had peritonitis. Yeah. And they treated me for 18 months for a water infection, and I had serious, septic symptoms. It saved me life.
It's almost like it jumped in and went, right, you're being treated for this, and this ain't good enough because this needs sorting out. But
so is it?
You say, why has it been there tormenting you, and then all of a sudden saves your life? Is it because it wants to carry on tormenting you, or I don't know?
Well, yeah. Is it so you've got that bait, that fish on a string, or am I just so frightened of it that it just being there is enough for me to say it's negative?
Yeah, maybe.
That's what you just said, didn't you?
Yeah. You're just assuming that it's bad.
It's like,
yeah.
It's not like a terror, Deb. It's like a jump start. So I'm asleep and he's there and I jump up and then I'm angry then because he's there again and I'm like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
I argue with it and everything, don't I, Mark? And then one night I was so mad, I said, you come for me one more time, I'm going to rip your soul out of your body. And it stopped for 2 years. Completely stopped. And like, I don't know how angry I had to be to do that, but like, that's what, and it's more, yeah, you're right. Like, maybe I'm just frightened of him because you're not supposed to see that at any point in your life, regardless of your age. And like, maybe I should have a conversation with him, but I'm too scared to do it.
No, maybe Mark's right, you know. Maybe you've just, because anything dark in it, it's anything dark or black or menacing feeling to you. It would come across like that to you. No, so you've just assumed that it's something that's not good.
How society is used to see.
So back, what do you mean? Like
before all this religion shit.
Yeah.
So that's what you'd see, like that shape, that presence.
Yeah, you'd see a presence.
Well, do you know what? If I've been running away from him for 58 years and he's trying to help me, am I an absolute?
I know. I bet it stands there jumping up and down and stamping its feet. Like, why does she think I'm horrible?
Maybe I don't know. But like twice, I've called on it twice when I've been at Milan and I've been like, you better come here and help me. And it has done kind of thing. It's just fucking weird. I remember Daisy said the same thing. She was like, Deb, I'm terrified of it. Absolutely terrified of it. And like, because I'd asked her, said, can you help me with this? And she was like, I can't even help myself at the minute. I'm so frightened by what he's doing to me and putting me through.
Yeah.
And you know, and I was like, I get it completely. Like, I'm just so used to living with it like that. And maybe I typed that the thing that Roy tracked across the bedroom that scared me, I presumed that was him, but that might have been something else entirely. I don't know. Like you said, maybe I should put a camera in my bedroom. I know that sounds mad, but maybe I should. You know,
possibly do a voice recorder thing first and leave that running. See what happens there, and then if you get up from that, then think about putting a camera up. You only need one of them. You only need one of them. Oh God, I had one. I gave it away. It's like a little camera that runs off your phone. They're only cheap. They're about 25 quid.
I can do that. I'll just because obviously I have all my kit. I could just do that quite easily.
Yeah, you could.
It's that I'm being honest and trying to be transparent. I'm frightened of what I'll see, or I'm frightened of what I'll hear. You know?
Yeah.
I can't control that situation in any way, shape, or form. I can control tuning in and out in a woodland. I can do that with my eyes shut. But I can't do it with him.
Yeah.
So it's just this fear that whenever I see him or he's around, it's just he just stops me doing anything. It's crippling. It's like a paralyzing fear. And the people always say to me, "Oh, it's this state. What do they call it? Sleep paralysis." It's not paralyzed. I eat out at him. I kick him. I throw things at him, and like I shout at him. And God, if he is around, Debs, to help me, he puts up with a lot, doesn't he? Like, probably his worst domestic violence relationship he's ever had. And he's like, no, I don't want to go back there tonight, actually, let her die. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I reckon that you need to, if you've said you've asked him a couple of times to help you and he has, then I'm not thinking that that's anything malevolent.
Take your advice. Maybe that's what tonight was about, like opening that door now. Do you know what I mean? Come so far and like maybe that's the next one. Like, can you become friends with your foe?
Nemesis.
Your nemesis, I've always seen him as like a stalker. Like, I knew when it's the same thing as when I was a kid. It's never changed description or anything like that. It's always looked the same. But sometimes it will appear differently. So last month, I was working a case and it was these young girls, Victorian girls that had died. They'd been murdered and it had never been put together as a serial killing. And that night, when I saw him, he was 2 Victorian girls stood at the side of my bed, and that frightened me.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was trying to tell me something about that case, or
Possibly.
he was trying. I don't know. And the only other time he was like he looked like an official, like somebody in a suit, and it was a woman in a suit, and like a white shirt with like a clipboard and a pen. And I told him to fuck off. And I went back to sleep, and just the strangest things. So them bits, maybe they are just me asleep, and I'm sat up awake going through it, and I don't like. I know that I'll lie back down, or I'll get up and I'll go and use the loo, and I'll get in bed and I'll lie back down, and I think, don't you dare come back.
Yeah.
So I'm not asleep when it's happening. I'm completely awake.
No.
My dad did it. My dad did the same thing, did it? Yeah, my dad had exactly the same problem his entire life. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, he didn't tell you that till later on, though, did he?
No. He once knocked his shoulder out trying to hit it in bedroom.
Right.
Mum said she'd wake up at night and he'd be fighting with something, like full on scrapping.
Yeah.
And stuff. And I don't know, because we'd never had a conversation about it. It wasn't something I discussed, and it wasn't something he discussed. And it was just that day we just ended up talking about it. He said he was frightened, and he was frightened. Yeah. And he kept saying to me, explain again about energy. And I said, Dad, when you go, you just go back to energy.
Yeah.
You do anything you want then. And he's like, do I have to come back here? And I went, no, not if you don't want to.
No.
And he was like, actually, I don't. And I was like, well, you don't have to, Dad.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Actually, I don't. That's what he said. I was like, you can do anything you want. And he joked with me right to the end, because he was a jokey type of lot, and he's like, you got to stop running from it. And I'm like, I know. And then there was that whole thing where I'd go in and he'd say, can you see them kids there playing on that wall? And I'd be like, no. And he'd be like, I can. I think it's you and I, Jack. And he'd tell me, Mum would say, when our Debbie comes, a thing opens up, well, I can watch it.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that, yeah.
I had to go back one night. Do you remember, Debbie? It was winter, and I had to go back and shut it. It was dead upset because I hadn't closed it.
Yeah, closed it. Yeah.
It frightened him, and I had to go back, like, shut the imaginary thing. But then
I'm just thinking about your entity now and thinking, bloody hell, it's had an hard ride. If that's your guardian angel.
Talk Matt.
It's had a bloody hard ride.
I've been playing hard to get for 58 years. No, honestly, I am frightened of him. It just does me head in. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit down and say, right, come on, me and you need to have a conversation, because I've never backed away from something I'm scared of.
No.
So it's like, it's time. I need to put you to bed now. Yeah, what are you all about? Yeah, and like, why can't you just sit down and have a conversation with me and stop appearing in my bedroom?
Yeah. Stop looming over me and scaring shit out of me.
But I mean, honestly, right, in honest situations, like, if it was a man, if it was a real man, I'd be entitled to be frightened, wouldn't I?
No, of course,
there, yeah. And he's there. But like, Roy don't like him. And that was the one thing I nearly let them doctors convince me it was in my head. And like, take these tablets, Deb, and it'll go away and it'll help you sleep and all that. And like, something niggling at me is like, no, Debbie, don't do it. Because if you take them tablets and he's coming for you and there's nothing you can do because you're medicated, that'd be worse.
Yeah.
To be in that state, you'd be real frightened, so I wouldn't do it. And Roy started growling at that door about 20 minutes before it came in. And it was, how did he know?
Exactly.
If that's a physical thing, how did that dog know that thing? He was trying to protect me, wasn't he, man? Yeah. All dogs do it, don't they, Deb?
Yeah,
he was out on rest the other night, and our Zane was out near water, and dog ran over to him because he's like, that boy's out here on his own. What you doing? Like, fine, right? He's allowed to do it. But that's what dogs will do, don't they? They help the youngest or like the most thing. So to him, I was obviously vulnerable, and this thing's coming for her, that kind of thing. I bet he comes tonight now because they've been talking about it.
He probably will, yeah. He'll be like, listen to what she's been saying to you.
I'm recording.
Communicating.
Yeah. Actually, this is a serious point now, right? If there is anybody out there who has any psychic abilities whatsoever that could tune into it or feel its energy for me, or even have some advice on how I could overcome this terrifying fear of it, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
It's my last hurdle.
Definitely.
No. What time are you? Right, I'm going to let you and your sore toe get off.
Yeah. I'm waggling my foot like a good one here.
I'm gonna go get a cup of tea and get in bed. I'm knackered. I'm absolutely knackered. But it's been fun. We'll have to come back in a fortnight.
We will, yeah.
Come back in a fortnight and do it again.
Yeah, we will.
Right, so from me and the wonderful Deb, yeah.
And me.
Go on,
And
Deb.
me.
Oh, and him over there.
And Mark. And Roy.
And Roy. Where is that?
In the bedroom.
And your nemesis.
Yeah, he's asleep on the bed. On my nemesis. Like Roger. We'll call him Roger.
Roger, yeah. Roger the Dodger.
Yeah, Roger the Dodger. I'll come up with a name for him. Right, all right then. So I shall see you all in a fortnight.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you all. Night, everybody.
Night.
Night.